Good morning. This is Professor Soriana Yassin from the University of Tizi Ouzou and a member of the CNEAD with you in order to introduce the MOOC of academic writing and writing a research paper. This is week 2, sequence 1, which is entitled Characteristics and Types of Academic Writing. We are going to start with part 1, which is Characteristics of Academic Writing. Before that, I would like to remind about the saying that clear thinking leads to clear writing and clear writing leads to clear thinking. Indeed, as an introduction, we would say that English is now the lingua franca of academia. It is widely accepted that it is the language of science, technology, and education. Its mastery gives access to new and recent information. University teachers, researchers, students, academics, and scientists from different fields need to publish in English to give their works a chance to reach the scientific world community so as to be recognized by peers. Therefore, they all need to master English academic writing. Let's start with some definitions. So, academic writing definitions. Academic writing is a formal style of writing used in higher education institutions and scholarly materials of all sorts. Academic writing follows the same writing process as other types of texts, but it has specific conventions in terms of content, structure, and style. Academic writing is the process of sharing original research with other scholars in accordance with certain standards rules. This process requires correctly following the steps of scientific academic writing. You have the reference, okay? We are going to look at the characteristics of academic writing. So, academic writing displays a set of characteristics which distinguish it from other types of writing. Here is a list of the main characteristics. So, as you see, it is visually represented. Then we have academic writing, which is holding or displaying different characteristics like complexity, formality, precision, accuracy, structure, objectivity, hedging, and responsibility. Now we are going to look at each of these characteristics. Let's start by complexity. Academic writing displays a more complex grammar than spoken language and is lexically dense, using more noun-based phrases. It includes more subordinate clauses, more attributive adjectives, and more passive forms than spoken language. The second is formality. Academic writing is more formal than other types of writing, between brackets, non-academic writing. It uses more complex sentences defining genre and formal vocabulary. There is an example. Using somewhat is more formal than using a bit. Insufficient is more formal than not enough. The third characteristic is precision. Academic writing is based on research. It reports facts. Statements and arguments need to be supported by evidence. It is important to give credit to authors properly. The next characteristic is accuracy. Academic writing is accurate both as concerns the use of vocabulary and grammar. Choosing the correct word and the appropriate grammatical form is very important to avoid approximations. There is an example. For instance, we have meeting, assembly, gathering, or conference. Then here you need to choose the correct word among these ones according to the context. The next characteristic is structure. Academic writing is structured. The structure of a given writing piece depends on the genre of writing. For example, an essay will have an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion, while a research paper will most often follow the IMRAD structure, that is introduction, methods and materials, results, discussion, and conclusion sections. The sixth characteristic is objectivity. Academic writing uses neutral words which show neither emotion nor attitude. The emphasis is on the information and the arguments, rather than on the author. Academic texts use more nouns and non-evaluative adjectives rather than verbs and adverbs. For example, instead of writing, I believe the model is valid based on these findings, write rather, These findings indicate that the model is valid. Instead of writing, parents who smoke are obviously abusing their children, right? Second-hand smoke has some harmful effects on children's health. And then the seventh characteristic is hedging. Academic writing is known to be factual. However, it is important to use cautious language, also called hedging, to make decisions about the stance on a particular subject or the strength of the claims. For example, you can use introductory verbs such as seem, tend, look like, appear to be, think, believe, doubt, be sure, indicate, or suggest. We can also use modal verbs such as such as certainty, definitely, clearly, probably, possibly, perhaps, conceivably. And we have also the use of what we call the that clauses, such as it could be the case that, it might be suggested that, or there is every hope that. The eighth characteristic is responsibility. Academic writing is responsible. It aims at demonstrating an understanding of the theoretical backgrounds. Academic writers are required to provide evidence and justification for any claims they make. For example, instead of writing, language is, in my view, clearly something social, right? As Halliday 1973 argues, language is intrinsically social. And then in conclusion, we can say that while producing a piece of academic writing, you need to make sure your text includes all the previously presented characteristics. Doing so will give you better chances to be published in scholarly journals. And lastly, here is a list of references that you can consult in order to know more about the characteristics and features of academic writing. And thank you very much for your attention.